Clinton is leading Sanders nationally by more than 30 points. So I asked the senator whether the magic from the summer was gone.
No, absolutely not. Let's go back 6 months and let's look at Bernie Sanders announcing his candidacy and being 3-4% in the polls. No money in his campaign, no volunteers, no political organization, running against a woman who is enormously well known, whose husband was president of the United States. What's happening?
That would be Hillary Clinton.
Well, I don't want to say so, but if you say it, I'll agree.
Okay.
Look, we started off 6 months ago. Be honest, Gloria.
Right.
What did the media consider Bernie Sanders? A fringe candidate, right? Not a serious candidate. Be honest, that was the case. Now you're saying, well, you haven't quite won this thing yet. That tells me that we've made real progress in 6 months.
So Hillary Clinton has 31 endorsements from people in the Senate.
Yes.
And you don't have any.
That's correct.
What does that show?
It tells you that one of us is a candidate of the establishment. One of us is involved in establishment politics and establishment economics. And it says that maybe the other candidate is prepared to take on the establishment.
That would be you.
That would be me. Yes, I think that's probably right.
Before we get to the contrast between you and Clinton, I want to talk about Hillary Clinton's damn emails, as you're to quote you.
The American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too.
What I said during the debate is what I say to you now, same thing, is I think the American people get tired of seeing front page stories from the media day after day about emails. They want to know why their kids can't afford to go to college. They want to know why they can't afford health care, why we have a grotesque level of income and wealth inequality. That's what they want.
But they want to know about their presidential candidates.
Sure they do, but day after day after day, and that's why I said enough is enough with the emails, and I believe that. Now, there is a process underway, and what I said, right after the debate, there is a process, there's an investigation. Let it take its course. I'm not involved in that.
What is legitimate for the process to investigate?
I honestly don't know.
National security
Sure, all
questions.
of those issues. It's just not something I have paid a whole lot of attention to.
There are issues of trust with Hillary Clinton, and you sort of gave her a pass during the debate. Do you regret that?
No, I do not regret that at all. I mean, I cannot walk down the corridors in Capitol Hill without being really begged by the media to attack Hillary Clinton. They want to make this personal. It's easy to cover. I choose not to do that. Let's talk about the economy. Let's talk about Wall Street. Let's talk about climate change. Let's talk about education. Frankly, that is what the American people want to hear discussed.
Let me talk to you about the issues between you and Hillary Clinton, because she has recently come to oppose the Pacific trade deal, come to oppose Keystone, as the president opposes Keystone, has vowed to take on big banks. How should voters view these changes?
Fair
you like
question.
the question? You like the
good question.
Oh, thank you. How should voters view those changes?
What you should see is, how do you feel about U.S. trade policies? That's the first question. Do you think it's good? The question is, who is out front on this issue, who has consistently been opposed to trade policy? I think the answer is pretty obvious. I am glad, by the way, let me be frank, that Hillary Clinton finally came on board in opposition.
But does it tell you anything about her?
That's what the American people will have to decide.
What do you think?
No, I'll let the American people decide that. I am not voting for Hillary Clinton. Let me be clear. You got a breaking news story here. I'm supporting Bernie Sanders.